Good things come in small packages. 5'11" tall, 180-pound, Juuse Saros. What a talent. They went from Pekka Rinne, who was so big and yet so effective, to a smaller goalie who has been very effective. In fact, a workhorse. He has led or co-led the league in games played in each of the past 3 seasons. Schneid. We look at Saros' work, we look at his numbers, and I mentioned his size. What's the most impressive thing to you about our number 9 pick?
I love his just overall talent, but mostly his skating ability. If you're going to be 5'10", 5'11", you have to be able to move your feet and get around the crease. And you got to be a little more agile and powerful on your edges. So I think watching him skate and the way he balances and uses his leverage is really impressive. And, you mentioned some of those stats. It's remarkable. You don't see a lot of workhorse goalies these days, but you would definitely not expect it of a 5'10", 5'11" guy. So very deserving that contract extension. He's been one of the best in the league the last 5 years. That workload would also be one thing that does concern me going forward, though, as he hits 30. A lot of miles in the tires the last couple of years. Smaller guy, which means he has to rely on his athleticism and use his body a little bit more than most guys. So something to keep an eye out here, maybe down the line. But I think for this upcoming season, he's right in the mix of the top 10, depending on how other guys are playing. And maybe a down year for him this past year, but I think his body of work speaks to how talented of a goaltender he is.
We just saw the heights. Fascinating that he's the only one under 6 feet tall. And Schneid's mentioned the contract. 8-year, $61.92 million contract extension signed July 1, 2024. Coach, one of the things we hear every year at the draft is a bigger goalie makes sense because he covers more of the 4x6. The puck can bounce off of him. What do you think of that line of conventional wisdom?
Well, I mean, everybody's going with the bigger goalies. I mean, it's an anomaly when you can be, and Corey said it right. Like, I mean, anytime you're listed at 5'11", you're probably 5'10", and so you're a little shorter. But to have a short goalie do what he's done, and to play the amount of games that he's played, it's quite astounding. Now, I remember quite well when he was the backup to Pekka Rinne.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, if I'm thinking with Nashville, they're thinking the same thing now. They've got a great young goalie in the minors. I forget his name, but I mean, Askarov will probably be the understudy of Saros for the next couple of years, as Saros was to Pekka Rinne, and then they just keep moving them on, and then Pekka ended up retiring, in his mid-30s, and I think this is sort of the line that they're doing. But the most important thing, 2 years ago, when they needed wins to even get a chance at
the playoff,
he was the guy for the last 30 games, and last year when they went on that
16-0-2.
18 game run, he was the guy again. So when you need somebody to come up and play a big game, and their team this year is much better than it's been the last couple of years, I see big things for him, and I understand why Barry did what he did.